Hi there. Today I'm going to highly analyze Monkey Kid as a character. I'm going to see how he improves and changes as a character throughout Season 1 all the way to Season 5. Also, I will review every single other character who had a meaningful impact on the show in other videos as well, so stay tuned for that. But let's go into the video. Now, Monkey Kid, he starts off in a show as some goofy noodle delivery boy who is a super carefree and just an overall happy person. All he cares for in life is just hanging out with his friends and playing video games whilst delivering noodles. However, it all changes when he gets a staff, though it is a gradual change. Throughout the show, he starts slowly and surely understanding what it means to be a hero, since he starts learning which battles he can win, like against the Demon Bull King, and what battles not so much, like the Lady Bone Demon. Also, in Season 1 and 2, he gets various different life skills, like focusing on the task at hand, and training teaches him that some things just don't happen overnight, but rather they all happen gradually with hard work and determination. In Season 1 and 2, he learns these life skills, but doesn't imply him too much, since he's still quite carefree, and doesn't know how to use his powers. Granted, this all changes in the last few episodes of Season 2, where MK realizes he needs to become much more serious in his responsibility to protect the city, since the Lady Bone Demon is just such a serious threat. Once MK loses his staff at the end of Season 2, he finally realizes that he has to step up, and really tries his hardest to become strong enough to be able to defeat her. Granted, MK does kind of take the back seat in Season 3, since he doesn't really have his powers, and becomes quite useless. It's mostly since he's always relying on his staff to give the power he needs to be able to defeat his opponents, rather than draw it from himself from within. Eventually, at the end, he regains his staff and defeats the Lady Bone Demon, but she really gets into his head, since she pointed out that MK is the reason all of these world-ending events have happened. Which on one hand is true. It was MK's staff that made DBK powerful, and he let the Lady Bone Demon get the power she needs to take over the city. But on the other hand, it wasn't MK's fault DBK got the power he needed, since he literally just got the staff and didn't even realize how to use it. And it wasn't even MK's hair that made the Spider Queen powerful enough to take over the city, but rather the Lady Bone Demon. And MK may have given all the power the Lady Bone Demon needed to take over the city, but he also fought hard enough to protect the city as much as he could. All he did is just fail. However, MK doesn't think that. He thinks it's all his fault, and that he's a terrible protector. And he tries suppressing these feelings so his friends don't see that he's struggling. But he will eventually let it all out. On top of that, when he traveled into the Ink Scroll, he finally starts to question what he is. He always believed that he was Pigsy's son, and while that is definitely true, he's not biologically his son. He managed to just so happen to get all of these super powerful abilities from just a coincidence? That's impossible, since Sufu Subodhi himself said that all litter students practiced for centuries to possess a fraction of his power, and MK got all of those powers in basically a month or two. And Sun Wukong just so happened to choose him of all the people. And to top it all off, he starts phasing in and out of his monkey form. Season 4 ends, and in Season 5, he's really struggling mentally. On top of everything I just said, MK is grappling with that monkey form and what it means. It means that he's not a human like his friends, but a monkey created by the goddess Nuwa as the harbinger of chaos. Now, Ink MK from the Ink Scroll really got into his head by making him realize all of these things, and on top of that, in Season 5, he believes that he has to jump into the Pillar of Heaven to sacrifice himself, and was specifically created for this sacrifice. Now, MK grappling with all of this is fully unable to sleep, since he constantly remembers his monkey form. Now, because of all of this, his entire life is just deteriorating, since he's no longer even pretending to deliver the noodles, and is slowly and surely losing his meaningful relationships with his friends. Like, it's gone to the point where all he's doing is literally anything except delivering noodles, and opening up to his friends about his feelings. On top of that, he was willing to sacrifice his life, and he was in tears, but still didn't want to open up to his friends about anything, and until the end of the show, he held it all in, and didn't say anything about it. Granted, during season 5, he did actually meditate, which did help him a lot to deal with his trauma with his monkey form and a lot of stuff that happened beforehand. However, the sacrifice still got to him quite a bit. Anyways, that's the end of me yapping about Monkey Kid for like 5 minutes. Sorry if it couldn't be any longer. I'm literally recording this on vacation. So see you next week and subscribe if you want. Goodbye.